Hey y'all, it's me again, Joel. Let me turn these fans off so y'all can hear me, because I don't plan on using my cordless mic today. I'm going to get these fans out of the way. This is May the 5th. These frames we pulled yesterday hadn't been here quite 24 hours yet, but long enough because they were already pretty dry. But I like to keep fans on them and keep my humidity down. It's 42 right now. It was lower than that. I've come in and out the door a couple times. But anyway, we're set up, ready to go. I got 18 of them to do, and they're not real thick. I've got my nice saber from Hilco. I'm going to use if it's a little thick, and I'll just leave that off. I also got my scratcher and my little spiny roller, which is one of my favorite tools. I'm not even going to break out the old sideliner right now, but it shouldn't take too long to do these 18. My extractor spins 9 at a time, so just 2 spins and we'll be done. Now also, let me set this to the side somewhere. Alright, let's just roll this one over here. Alright, I'm not going to use, I always use the little paint sacks, but just for these 2 boxes I'm not doing that. I'm just going to let it go in the bucket and settle out. I got one under the drain for the Uncapping tank. I got another one for the extractor, and we'll go ahead and put my, in case y'all have never seen them, the honey bucket alarm. This is a nice tool to have. Takes a lot of you worrying when you uncapping about that bucket filling up. So we'll go ahead and screw it to the bucket like it needs to be. Battery's still good. Alright, I guess we'll get started. And like I say, I'm not going to be using the my cordless. Now, I may even skip forward some of it. Not going to make you watch me do all 18 frames, but I like to put my little blue box. I like to put it on with a little music. YouTube won't allow me to do that. I haven't bought a program to make any music legal unless it's YouTube stuff. But I'll bring you in on some of it and let you see how it's done. Y'all ready? Let's get started. I don't even know which yard this one come from. Okay, I think this one came from the Taylor yard, because I remember having one. There was one that I moved over out of a nuke box that was pretty clean, and I think another one I'd moved up, an old comb I'd moved up for seed. And this is, I don't know if y'all see how sunk in that is, but I'll probably just use the roller for this. Ooh, that honey hard. I'm telling y'all, we blame it on privet a lot, and I know privet is dry, but our spring honey is usually real dry. It gets hard and thick. I might let this sucker spin a long time. Look like the scratcher may work better. Now this one's sticking out a little bit. Let's try the scratcher and see which one works the best. Y'all, I'm almost a year out of practice. I think I still like the roller. I just use the scratcher for little spots that gets missed. Y'all see how dry looking that is? It's not going to drip much. And a lot of people, I've seen people do this with such grace. Doing that, it just drives me crazy to try to do that. I think the main thing is I can't see good enough to stay steady on it. Alright, we're going to let that be. I won't get a trip or two out of that. This one's heavier than that one, and that's pretty. It's almost been a pretty picture, huh? I don't think that's deep enough for the knife, but we're going to try it because we got this thing. Most of you know I got rheumatoid and this is already hurting my hands. But it's fun. I'll get a little faster with it as we go. I don't like cutting much on those when they're open. It'll tear them up. That's almost perfect. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do a few of these, and I'll see if something happens. I got the camera going, but I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward to the next phase, or something awesome happens. I don't know what that would be. Alright, we got them uncapped. Let me just start putting them in. They all probably close to the same weight. But I'm still gonna scatter them out. I do that just in case one of them happen to be a little off. I can adjust accordingly. In my mind, I've always tried to just make sure they're balanced as best as can be. Some of them will fall forward or to the center sometimes until you get them all in. Need to put your glasses on, Joe. I'm gonna go ahead and wash the honey off my hands. I don't like handling the controls with honey hands. I know the lid's supposed to be closed. I don't know why some of them do that. See if I can make it fly back. Nope. That one will work. Everybody spread out. I'm bolted down. I don't have the springs yet. If I wasn't already bolted down, I'd probably bought the springs. It's gonna take a while to spin this out, y'all. I can tell already. Alright, 160. Y'all hear that? Sound like rain, don't it? Alright, I'm at 200. I'm going to let it sit there for a minute. Get that rock out. Not too bad. According to what they're saying, and John's even said it, that with the springs, you can just turn it wide open and it'll work itself out. That would be time that I am wasting here, saved, and I could be doing something else. Alright, 230 and rising. Alright, I'm over here. Uncap the other 9. Well, that side's pretty. This side, not so much. After I put the wheels on the bottom of this thing, it's changed that height a couple of inches. I need to get me a stepping stool, I guess. Tallow's gonna be so much easier if we get any. It's so thick it don't even want to curl off right. wax off the side right there. Come on. Should have done that first too. Another problem is I didn't make it warm enough in this room. I forgot what I said it was. It was in the 70s, low 70s this morning. 75 now. All that'll come off in the egg extractor. Some of it will fall off in here. I'll let it go ahead and run right there. Alright, y'all, I didn't have the camera going, but it never would let me get any higher speed. It kept wanting to wobble too bad. I shut it down and I found two that wasn't completely unloaded, almost on the same side of the wheel. So what I did is took one of them and put on the opposite side as close as I could get. And now we're back up to 250, getting a little bit of wobble. We just, while I finish these other two, we'll go ahead and let it run up there. Alright, we finally was able to get that last frame to turn loose. And it is wide open. And there's a little slight strain coming out, as you can see, and right at a half a bucket. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch it and the bucket that's under this tub. So very little gets in here. Tomorrow, once it all kind of drains out, it may be a gallon or two, something like that. I'm not sure. But I'm going to shut this off, or just shut the close the gate. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm going to close the honey gate for just a second. I won't even bother putting the camera on it. But I can't turn this one off because there's no valve on it. So what I'll do is just go ahead and quickly slide this other bucket back there, and then put this one, which is hardly anything in it, under here. And I'll put my bucket along where it belongs. Pretty light. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna put them out and let the bees clean them out, because probably tomorrow, if not later today, I'll go through a few more hives and do the same thing we did last time for these. Some people don't like putting wet supers back in, but hey, I've done it. Most of the time I usually like to put the wet supers right back where they belong, unless you freeze them. And say I could put them in the freezer overnight if I had room. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put these in. Gotta push the go button. You hear the rain? I know you can't see down in there. Alright, I'll turn it up a little bit more in a minute. I've got one frame that turned loose before everything else did. $265. I have to turn it down to like $255. And just let it go right there for a little while. Well, I'm going to get a drink out of the cooler. Man, it's rolling a little more now. We've got a pretty good pile of cap-ins there for 18 frames, and didn't have a lot of fat cells on it. Not too bad. It is pretty much done. It's the light stream coming out. I'm going to show you how much we got in there right now. Alright, that's what we had on the first one. About a half a bucket. And this one is over half a bucket. And they were all pretty much the same, so that shows you how much honey was still draining out of here when we started that second run. But I'm going to let this sit here all night and drain like that, and I'll let this one, I don't know if you can see it dripping or not, I'll let it sit all night and I'll give y'all a total. There'll probably be at least another half gallon drain out of this, and I don't know, I usually have to take my little scraper and drag this, remove the little screen down there and drag it and get that out. There may be a half a gallon in there. Okay y'all, it's the next morning and everything is finished dripping. This first bucket, I weighed it already. This first bucket was, and I always put a lid on it, and I subtract 2 pounds for the bucket. So the first bucket was 48.9, and I'll give you a close-up look at that. And this second bucket here was 43.5. I think that totals 92.4. I think I'm going to go back to using the little paint sacks, because if you look at this, now I got to deal with this again. See that? And I know that's not an issue for some people, but if I had the sacks in there, I could have been through with this already. So I think I'll go back to the sacks. Now I'm not even going to try to video this. I've used this only one time. I may go ahead and just pour it through here. This has a couple of strainers in it, and I would actually utilize it a little better, but I'd have to reset up here and put it here where it would go into that, and then I'd have room to put a bucket under here and let the clean honey come out. Kind of like a little clarifier. Well, that's going to be it for this one. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.